The rainfall simulator gives us a way of showing different kinds of management without having to move from one field to the next. We can bring samples from different kinds of management and compare them side by side. There's a catchment pan under the soil pan that drains the water into the jar in the back, so all the infiltration water is caught in the back jar. The jar in the front, whatever runs off the surface of the soil, gets caught by the funnel in front, and that's what we don't want to see is the runoff. We have conventional till cropland, and the soil is actually becoming dislodged. We also have a no-till cropland with a good amount of residue on it. This is no-till cropland with a cover crop planted in. Cover crop is put in after the crops are harvested. We also have an overgrazed pasture. You can see the vegetation is clipped down pretty short with the grazing. And then we have a well-managed grazing land. Usually what that is a rotational grazing. The cattle are moved pretty frequently. The overgrazed range is got a lot more runoff than infiltration. And the well-managed grazing land, usually we'll see pretty good infiltration and really no runoff. Infiltration is a good way of just demonstrating those principles of soil health. It's not as simple as is it grass or is it cropland? And it's not as simple as one kind of management, like no-till versus conventional till. You have to really apply nearly all of those soil health principles to get at a healthy soil. And just because you see grassland in the view of the landscape, it doesn't mean necessarily that that's a healthy landscape. It is a significant impact when we convert grassland to cropland because we really reset the microflora and microfauna in the soil. Having good aggregates in these native prairie soils just provides a home for billions of critters really that live in the soil and call it home. If you start at the soil surface, you should have a good mat of residue. That litter should be in contact with the soil and readily decomposing. Then you're going to start seeing that granular structure, and you'll have fine and coarse roots mixed together. The soil should be really dark and granular with small aggregates. Gradually, the granular structure will give way to what we call subangular blocky structure. One of the key elements that we don't see clearly is the mycorrhizal fungi. They increase the capability of the plants by 2 or 3 times easily in terms of uptaking water and nutrients. 80% of the native grasses require the native mycorrhizal fungi species to be present in order to be healthy and survive. We think of forests as being rich sinks of carbon. But a lot of the carbon in a forest is above ground. With a prairie, a lot of that carbon is below ground, not only in the root system, but in the mycorrhizal fungi. They're exuding carbon material and also nitrogen and other beneficial compounds for the other plants and animals to live in the soil. You don't see that with conventional tillage because you're constantly tearing apart their little homes down there. And they're spending all their time rebuilding their homes instead of doing the work that they do normally. That's going to impact the wildlife that we have out there as well.